Guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your boy Ju, and as you can see, we have a new toy, and I want to go ahead and hop right in this video. I want to go ahead and cut to the chase and leave all the BS out. This is my 1989 Nissan Skyline R32. Now, this car is super special to me. There has been so much researching, looking around for the perfect car, and I feel like I've really found what I was looking for. As you guys can see, this is a four-door Skyline. This is something that I've been looking for in specific just because I want a daily driver. I know that kind of sounds crazy because this is a Skyline, but I truly believe that, you know, as a car enthusiast, you really just want to be in your preferred car all the time. And I feel like, why not pick this one out of everything else? So I am going to Japan in November of this year, 2024. I was going to go ahead and pick up a Nissan Silvia S15, but I already have two coupes, which are behind me in this video. It is a 350Z Nismo single turbo and a 2JZ swapped Nismo 370Z, and I just didn't feel like it would be practical to have another coupe. Yes, the S15 has four back seats, I should say, but it still just doesn't make sense. So that's kind of where this comes into play. Today is currently Monday, September 9th. I want to go ahead and rewind a little bit and just show you and tell you guys the process of when I picked this car up. So Thursday, September 5th, 2024, I book my girlfriend and I's flight to Las Vegas, which is where this car resides. Once we flew out about 8 p.m. at night. We ended up landing in Vegas around 10 p.m. We met the seller of the car. I checked out the car, you know, went for a test drive, did everything like that. We probably wrapped up all the paperwork, I would say, by midnight or so. The plan was to buy the car and drive it back that same day. And it sounded like a good plan, right? It does sound like a good plan. This is where it gets really interesting. As soon as we left the guy's house and we got gas and headed home, we're leaving Vegas. We leave the city of Vegas and we started heading into a big desert where there's nothing. As soon as we got in the desert, the passenger side of the car right here, this tire ended up blowing. The seller did inform me that all of the four tires were dry rotted, but I didn't think it would be that bad because they didn't look noticeably bad. And we were actually stranded on the side of the road for about, I would say, 3 hours. The tire blew up around 1 p.m. and we didn't really leave until about 3:30-ish or so. The car came with the scissor jack and pretty much everything except for the actual tool to remove the lug nuts. With that being said, this thing was just stuck in the air. I jacked it up and yeah, I just couldn't get the lug nuts off because I didn't have anything to get it off with. Had to call the local Las Vegas police department. Shout out to them because they actually were, I would say, pretty responsive. They had some other things that they were doing that night, but they did come out as fast as they could. And once they came out, they brought me what I needed. I was able to switch and put on the spare. And yeah, we basically decided to head back into the city of Las Vegas and stay the night in the car until the next day so I could get all brand new tires. And I apologize for the background noise. There is some dogs that are just not happy, it looks like. Long story short, the next day comes. After sleeping in the car, we decide to go to or call around to some tire shops to see if I can get some used tires. It looks like nobody in the city of Las Vegas sells used tires for whatever reason, so I ended up having to buy 4 brand new tires all the way around. No big deal, whatever. More money than I wanted to spend, but we had to do what we had to do at the time. With that being said, they did not have these tires in stock, so that meant we had to wait at the tire shop an additional 3 hours that morning. Well, while they have it up in the air, I guess I can take a peek under this thing to kind of see how it looks. It looks really good. There's like no rust at all, which is like pretty sick. I feel like the boots need to be replaced, but usually Skylines have a lot of rust under the car, but this thing looks like really clean, besides the exhaust, you know. But I'm really surprised. What do you guys think about this thing? No leaks or anything. It's pretty cool. And then this is the front side right here. So just looking under. This thing is freaking spotless, bro. W's in the chat for this thing, man. Wow, that is crazy. Look, all the pinch welds too are like intact too. So everything is super cool. There's no codes on the dash. This is honestly like a super clean Skyline. Same thing with the boot right here, a little ripped, but other than that, super clean. What do you guys think about this purchase? I'll show you guys more when I get home. Got the fresh meats, boys. 205 6015. I did not want to buy new tires for this thing. I really wanted to get used, but this is all that they had. It seems like Vegas, nobody has like used tires, so this is everything that every place was offering, just brand new tires. So it is what it is. I guess the Skyline deserves it, but yeah, we got brand new tires all the way around for this thing. Leaving the tire shop until about 12, and after that we tried to head back to California and head home, and everything was great until it wasn't. We ended up getting stranded in a city called Baker, California. It's near Barstow, if you guys are familiar. And with that being said, that is one of the hottest places on earth. We are actually experiencing a massive heat wave, so it was a terrible experience. We were stranded, I would say, for about 2 hours with no shade, peak heat. It was about 3 p.m. once we got to that location, and yeah, it was just miserable. So unfortunately, we had to end up towing the car from Baker, California to Ontario, where my girlfriend lives, and that is where we could repair the car. And it turns out the car was overheating because it was low on coolant. Just made it back to my girlfriend's house on the way to San Diego, and we just checked the coolant, me and one of her brothers, and it looks like this thing had no coolant in it. So we're gonna drain it, what's just left in it right now, and try to add some new coolant and just see how that does. We don't think it's anything too serious, so we're keeping our fingers crossed. Of the things that I definitely want to do though for sure in this video is take this sticker off. You guys know I'm not a fan of stickers at all, and I think this sticker's been on here for quite some time, so this is definitely going to be pretty satisfying to see a clean windshield. The only things that I'm going to leave on is one right here, and there's also one if I go over to the passenger side car. There is one right here. It's a Japanese sticker, probably something to do with their registration, maybe. Not exactly sure. You guys can see that, but yeah, those are the only two. But yeah, definitely want to get this one off on the front, and then on the back have one more at the top, and then this thing will be super clean. What do you guys think about this car so far? It was hot out there, but it was just really low on coolant, so it caused the car to overheat, and yeah, it wasn't happy. So luckily we didn't damage anything. I was able to flush out the radiator and flush everything with the help of my girlfriend's brother. Shout out to you, Mika. Restored it, putting some coolant in, and drove it home to San Diego, where I live. That is where we are meeting this car here. So without further ado, let me give you guys a proper walk around. I know it's pretty dark, but I'm gonna do my best right here to show you what we're working with. What is going on, guys? Today is the next day. It was getting dark and I felt like the video wasn't going to turn out how I wanted it to, so I wanted to make sure that it was super special, and that way you guys can see the car. It's still pretty dark right now, but I think it's good enough to go ahead and show you. So without further ado, let me give you guys a quick walk around of this thing, man. What's really cool about this, again, it's 1989 Nissan Skyline GTS, and what that means is this car came with an inline-6 RB20 DE. So it is not turbo. It is absolutely dog slow, but that's completely fine, because what this car is for my purpose, it's gonna serve it very well. And I'll get into that later, but I just wanna give you guys a quick walk around. Also, while we're walking around this thing, you guys know, again, I go to Japan later this year in November, which is actually in like a couple months here, but I was gonna go ahead and buy a car over there, but the thing is, the cars are really cheap there. We can pay little to nothing to own a car over there, but to import the cars, it's kind of where it starts to get a little bit pricey. You have to pay an export fee for the car leaving Japan, and you also have to pay an import fee for the car coming into America, as well as you have to pay, I can't remember what it's called, but you have to pay basically somebody to, or companies to like inspect the car. You have to get the car fully inspected, make sure it passes like our, whatever safety emissions that this thing would go through, stuff like that. And then also you have to register the car. The biggest thing is registering this thing. So with this car not having a title, coming from Japan, it's going to be a lot harder of a process, or just more expensive of a process to get this car titled and registered here in the States. So that's actually one of the main reasons why I went ahead and bought a car that was already here, because this car already has a US title, so all I had to do was basically go to whatever state that I live in, which is not California, of course, and basically register this car under my name. So it would be like as if you were to buy any of these cars out here and just transfer it, you know, into your name. So it is a lot easier of a process to do that. But nonetheless, this car is very, very clean. I'm really excited about this purchase. The interior of this car is, if I'm honest, I would say it's probably 10 out of 10, you know, or maybe 9 out of 10. It's not perfect, of course. You know what's crazy? Today, I actually ended up breaking this vent. So I was trying to push it in because it's kind of popped out here at the bottom, as you guys can see. And I was pushing it on this side like that. And I actually ended up breaking it just because it's so brittle and old. But that's all right. You know, maybe on my trip to Japan, I can maybe source a vent or something like that. But as far as like seats, everything is pretty clean. The floor mats are super sick. They say Skyline down there and they are in immaculate shape. And then even under the floor mats, everything looks good. Door cards, this is the passenger side. Everything looks really cool. And one of my favorite things about this thing, it has pillarless windows. You guys know when you usually open a door, there's actually like a pillar here. For these cars, it's pillarless. And I like that. It just gives it that, like, I don't know, that 90s like Japanese feel, and I love that. The doors close super nice. And what's also really cool about this thing is if you guys own like 350Zs or 370Zs, which I would imagine if you're watching my videos and whatnot, you know when you have your door open and you're sitting in the car, this thing always likes to close in on you. This thing, I don't know with the Skylines, but basically this hinge, it has like 4 notches in it. So you could I could be on a hill and leave the door at this position and it would actually stay here, which is like super cool. I don't know, maybe something that I'm geeking over, but yeah, it's really sick. A lot of people were asking me what this little thing is. This is actually an antenna. I have a button in the car that I can raise that up and raise the antenna and whatnot, maybe talk to the aliens or whatever. So super cool. Headlights are glass. They make 2 different versions. They make one version that's called N1, if I'm correct, and then they make these, which are the glass style. The N1s are actually the more preferred style, just because I think they take LEDs and HIDs a little bit better as opposed to these. I will admit these do look really clean, but the headlights do suck. They are very bad. At night, this vehicle does not portray a good light, and I'll try to throw a video on screen. I think I have one in my camera roll somewhere, but front end is pretty cool. There's also something really cool about the Skyline. So if you guys are Skyline fanatics like myself now, I can say these cars came with something called, I want to say it's called Active Aero. And what that is basically a lot of Japanese cars come with a lip that's actually tucked up, you know, behind the bumper there. And I have a button inside the car that I can press that will activate that lip. So I will go ahead and throw a video on screen of what that looks like right now. It's super sick, and it's crazy because this is a 34-year-old car and that still works, which is like mind-boggling. Like, I feel like there's cars like from 2 years ago that, you know, stuff is already like breaking and whatever. So, but without further ado, let me go ahead and hop in on the driver's side and just show you guys a little bit of the interior here. The steering wheel is pretty sick. It is really worn, so that's going to be one of the things on the list that I am going to be changing here shortly. I'll kind of tell you my plans in a little bit. Tachometer looks really cool. It has like that blue tint to it. If you guys have ever owned or seen an S13 240 SX, it is actually the same exact tack, except it's not blue. I believe theirs is maybe kind of like gray, and also theirs don't have the bubbles, but it's the same kind of style as far as like the orientation, if I'm not mistaken. Center console area, nothing crazy. You have kind of like all your AC and, you know, HVAC stuff up here. Down here, this is where the radio is. Everything is really in, you know, Japanese frequency, so nothing works over here. So I do have to replace that. And when I say it doesn't work, it does work. It turns on and all that stuff. It's just the stations don't come through is what I meant. But under here, you have like a little storage compartment. You could probably put your phone or something in there, maybe some snacks or whatever. You have an ashtray here, which I will never be using because your boy does not smoke. That is disgusting. And you also have a cigarette lighter that does work. I remember as a kid, I pushed it in the BMW that I used to have. It was a 99 BMW. It was my first car ever. And I pushed it in, it popped back out, and then I took it out and it was glowing red. And I don't know what in my head told me to touch it, but let's just say I never did that again. Over here, we have the glove box. Nothing crazy. I just got some small little personal items in there. that closes up, and yeah, you have your shifter. This car is automatic, and I know that's probably going to be one of the biggest things that people are going to say about this purchase, but I did want an automatic. You know, this car is going to be a daily driver for me, so I wanted something that was comfortable and just easy to drive around. You know, I wanted 4 doors, so this really serves my purpose very, very well. So really cool automatic. Over here, kind of hidden, you have your gear selector kind of indications. It also is down below, so like park, reverse, neutral, drive, etc. But it also shows you up here, so that way, like as a driver, when you're looking, you're gonna be able to see all that stuff right there. So it's pretty cool. Down below that, you have the spoiler to bring it in, and then you have it to actually put it down. So again, I'll show you that in a bit. And you actually have my my radio in the car. I didn't really touch on that, but yes, I will be replacing this with a double din, most likely with something with Apple CarPlay. That way it just makes the driving experience a lot easier. You know, I can charge my phone. I also don't have to look at my phone when I'm driving and all that stuff, so it'll just make it a little safer, and you know, I get music through the car. So, but for now, this is serving the purpose, and I'm actually glad that I bought this because I almost did not buy this a couple weeks ago. And right here, this is where that antenna button is. You can raise it, you can lower it, all that right there. And just a little cubby. As far as the actual center console, nothing pretty much in here. That is a piece of the mirror. The mirror is actually broken on that side. Yeah, I don't know, I got it like that. So that's another thing that I'm going to be doing. I'm actually going to be trying to get some Ganadors, if you guys know what that is. They're basically like Aero style mirrors. They just look really aggressive, and I think they'll complement the car's body lines and just accents very, very nice. And it gives me a good excuse, you know, this one's cracked. But what's also really cool about this car I didn't talk about yet is over here on the panel right here, this car actually has power locks from the factory. Again, this is a 1989 power locks, 1989. Also has power folding mirrors, meaning I can fold this mirror in at any point while I'm driving, whatever it is, like, and everything still works. Again, mind-boggling. Power windows. It's only driver side though, but power windows. You know, I can go up and down, you know, remotely on this side, and then these are just manual. You have to hold them down, you know, or hold them up, whatever. But how cool is that? Power locks, power windows, power mirrors, like all that stuff. It's super cool, super cool. Turn signals are on the right side. A lot of people who have not drove a right-hand drive car tend to mess that up, you know, because we're used to the US cars over here, but right-hand drive cars, it is on your right, so don't forget about that. If you ever hop in one, your friend will be very impressed if you do that correctly. Headlights are up here, and you have like fog lights and everything like that. This is the rear defrost. But yeah, on this side you have windshield wipers. This is all for the radio, FM, AM, as you guys can see, and like a tune button, all that stuff. And you also have your hazard lights here, so pretty sick. Horn works. It's really cool. But yeah, I mean, this car is really bare bones. You have like a standard little mirror, you know, some map lights, nothing crazy. Definitely be changing those out to LEDs. You have your visor, obviously in Japanese right here. And then what's really cool is they are really big on safety. So when you pop this down, there is no mirror here. I know the lighting is kind of bad right now, but there is no mirror here on the driver. On the passenger side, however, yes, there is a mirror, but no light. No light, only just like a little flip down mirror. But yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I guess we can go to the trunk area. You actually just pull up on this thing right here. The trunk pops. And back here I have what you call a JDM hoodie by Greddy, of course. I have some coolant down there because of our little coolant issue I filled you guys in earlier on. My little detail bag has everything I need in there. Spare tire is underneath the bottom. And what also I didn't mention about that little incident when I put the spare tire on is the spare tire is the original tire from 1989. So that tire is 34 years old. So when we had our little blowout, I was scared enough of that. Now I'll put a freaking old tire on there, bro. 34 years old, like that's just insane. But we didn't die, we're good. And over here, this is like the little panel where the jack is. So the jack is in there and everything like that. The only thing I do need to provide in this car, as I mentioned earlier, is I don't have the actual, not key, but I don't have the thing to actually take off the lug nuts and everything like that. That is something that I do need to buy and put in this car. But other than that, everything is there. Everything works, you know, it's super cool. Dude, this is like such an awesome purchase, and like it's really cool just because everything is really stock. I mean, yeah, there's nothing aftermarket on this thing, and I think that's really just the best way I could have went. Like, I don't think I could have gotten anything better than this one right here. I guess lastly, let me pop the hood and show you guys that. So after getting the hood pop, this is what it looks like. Kind of your standard little hood prop here, you know, just like the 240, whatever. But yeah, as I mentioned, this is an RB20. It's a DE, so there is no, oh, I went to the wrong side. Oh no, I didn't. Yeah, so it's a DE, so there is no turbo down there. It's just a header all the way back to the exhaust. And obviously you have the intake manifold right into the intake right here. So everything is stock, man. Like I said, I don't think it could have been any better. And what's really cool, if you guys know Skylines, they tend to rust all around the shock towers, you know, right here. And yeah, by this one, and even under the car and all that stuff, this thing is super clean. There is not a speck of rust on this thing, which I think is like super rare. These, like I said, Skylines, they are notorious for having rust under the car and on the shock towers. But everything's stock. Has a different radiator cap, and he did replace the battery. But the only thing I need to buy is a tie down, because right now we are, you know, holding on by the grace of God. So we definitely need a tie down, because we do not want this thing falling around or anything like that. But other than that, I mean, I guess I can talk about my plans with the car. I really don't want to modify this thing. What? What the f? At least not right now. And hear me out when I say that, because I have two cars. I have a 350Z Nismo that is single turbo, and I have a 2JZ with, or swapped into my Nismo 370Z that I technically haven't really finished yet. I need a couple parts for that car, but I just want to get in a car and just enjoy driving it. You know, I don't want to have to really think about going over speed bumps crazy or anything like that. I really just want to be able to get in, drive, you know, have a good time and have fun. But I think that's what this car's purpose is going to be. Just a stock, clean Skyline, you know, maybe eventually do like wheels and coils to just have it sitting nice, but I wouldn't do all the crazy camber stuff. You guys know I'm not like a stancy boy or anything like that. I think maybe long term down the road, I could see myself swapping the engine with like an RB30 or RB25 or something like that, and you know, having it like just quick, you know, maybe on E85, all that. But I don't really want to do anything super crazy, you know. Adam LZ's R32 GTST is like what I would want mine to eventually kind of be, something similar to that eventually. But that's again when I have another daily to replace this one, I guess. But in the comments down below, man, let me know what you guys think about this purchase. Do you think I made a good decision on buying this car? You know, do you think I could have got something cooler, something cleaner? Like, let me know what your thoughts are, man. I think this is a really clean version of a Skyline. I think it's honestly the cleanest R32 GTS or, you know, GTST kind of model that I've ever seen. You know, the paint is really nice and everything is there. So I think on that note, guys, I think I'm gonna end this video. I'll get deeper into my plans and what I already have for this car into like the next upcoming videos. But yeah, if you guys are excited, please drop a thumbs up. It really means the world to me, and honestly it just helps out with the whole YouTube algorithm and pushing these videos out to new people. And with that being said, we do need to reach a new audience, just because we have a Skyline now. And yeah, it's not only gonna be Z content, it's gonna be Skyline, RB content, 2J content with the Nismo 370Z. But I'm excited, man. I am very blessed, and I just want to thank everybody out there just for always supporting me and just watching these videos, man. It really truly means a lot. So with all that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out.